And right now we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Alix Steel, here to help you take you through the closing bell. It's a global simulcast. I'm going to get this right one day. Joined right now by Scarlet Fu in the TV studio. Carol Massar giggling there in the radio booth. Tim Stenovec there.
You just got to get it right before we change the name again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
well,
just
when's that
got it
gonna happen?
straight.
Yeah, there you go, Carol Massar. Why don't you pick it up? Did you prepare?
Yes. Interesting day. What, we're going to get another record?
Okay, I don't know where this is going.
Wait, I just really want to know the password things. Can I get your passwords?
No, I'm not sharing.
Come
I follow
on.
the rules. I don't do things outside the box.
All
It all
right.
depends on what services everyone subscribes to.
Yeah.
All I know is you give out too many I've been blocked because I can't get in because I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm one of
passwords
those
are
people.
given out.
So they're starting to figure it out. That's the issue.
They're on to you, Carol.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys hear about NVIDIA?
What?
Did you hear about this today?
In NVIDIA's world, man, we're just living in it. That's
It is.
what's happening.
It's pretty wild to see. 31 record days for the S&P 500. Another new record for NVIDIA today. It's the largest company by market cap in the world now, surpassing Microsoft, surpassing Apple. People are still buying it.
Yeah.
It's a story that people love. But you know what's another story that people
What?
once loved once upon a time?
What?
EVs. And Fisker filed for bankruptcy. So,
Right.
you know, the next big thing, this is a good reminder that the next big thing isn't something that can hold on to that status forever.
Wait, it doesn't always go up?
Well, I mean, also with
kid.
Fisker, though, they have to bend metal at some point to make the cars. I mean, luckily, NVIDIA doesn't have to do anything along those lines.
All right, well, Fisker certainly a casualty in the EV space here. Other builds still continuing on, and of course, NVIDIA, the winner on the day here, the biggest point gainer, point contributor to the S&P's moves to the upside on the day. 14 points higher than where it was yesterday, about a 0.2% increase as we wait for these numbers to settle. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up by about 57 points or 0.1%. And the NASDAQ, we're just going to kind of call it unchanged here on the day. It's up about 5 points. That's only good for about a fraction of 0.1% there. Meanwhile, the Russell 2000 trying to get in on the action again on the day of roughly 0.2%.
I just kind of toggling back and forth between Microsoft and NVIDIA market cap. And NVIDIA's just going to, squeeze past them to end the day to be the world's largest market cap. Having said that, S&P 500, Scarlett, yeah, most names higher. 310 to the upside, 188, losing some ground today.
Yeah, and you can certainly see that reflected in the IMAP. We'll take a look at the sectors and the performances that we have there. On the downside, let's just focus on the few red slices. Communications services down by 0.8%. Consumer discretionary, that's being dragged lower by Tesla. So going back to that EV story, not necessarily playing out right now. Materials off by 0.1%. On the flip side, financials, tech, and industrials all gaining at least 0.5%.
What happened to Ball Corp? Down 6% here on the day. Cans, man.
Wait for the decliners. Maybe it'll come
I didn't
up.
put Ball Corp
sorry.
in
Did
there.
I step on Tim's toes?
I didn't put
Apparently
Ball Corp
not.
in there. I'm sorry. Such a disappointment.
All right, it's never too late. I'm going to get to the gainers right now. NVIDIA, of course.
four of them today.
Now the biggest.
Must be a
I
good
know, so
day.
I'm going to try and go quick. Biggest market cap in the world,
I hope I don't interrupt
finishing
you.
3.3 trillion. Can you guys keep them quiet?
No.
NVIDIA up about 3.5%. Rosenblatt Securities raising its price target on the company to a street high of $200 a share from $140. This is even, Bloomberg reporting insiders selling some shares worth more than $700 million, as though Tim reminded us that's just a drop in the bucket. But NVIDIA up about 3.5% in today's session. Micron Technology up way off its highs, but 3.8% to the upside nonetheless. B of A adding it to its US 1 list, a collection of the bank's best investment ideas. Wedbush analyst also Matt Bryson increasing his price target to 170 from 130 ahead of the company's results next week. Stock closing at 153 and change. Lazy Boy, outperformer, finishing up about 19% higher in today's session. Company coming out with fourth quarter adjusted earnings per share and sales that topped estimates, so it's up the most in I think about 7 years, so all the way back to late June of 2017. And Silk Road, a little deal action, up 24%. It's a $1 billion medical equipment company, rallying after Boston Scientific agreed to buy the company for $27.50 a share. So there you have it. I'm done.
Okay, I got the decliners. I do want to look at how shares of Boeing ended
That
the
was
day.
faster than I thought, Carol.
I know. A little pressure there, buddy.
Yeah.
Speaking of pressure, that's what CEO Dave Calhoun faced as he testified before senators over the last 2 hours. He got searing criticism from these lawmakers who accused him of failing to overcome the company's shortcomings by putting profit ahead of safety. Shares finished the day down by 1.91%. Ahead of the testimony today, Boeing quality inspector alleged that the company mishandled and lost track of hundreds of faulty parts. And then there's what's happening in space right now, totally separate from everything on Capitol Hill. Boeing and NASA pushing back by 4 days the return home of 2 astronauts from the ISS. It's the latest disruption for a program that has been beset by delays. Boeing down 33% so far this year. Also checking in on shares of Apple after the run that we saw last week and after NVIDIA surpassed it to become the most valuable company, along with Microsoft surpassing that one too. But Apple shares fell after the company was cut to neutral from Accumulate by Phillips Securities analyst Helena Wang, citing a rally in the company stock following the recent reveal of that new AI framework at WWDC. And NextEra Energy shares falling today. This after the company said that it intends to sell $2 billion of equity units. Shares ended up falling today by about 2.6%. It was among the worst performers on a percentage basis in the S&P 500. And an honorable mention goes to Philip Morris International for a decliner today.
Wow.
The shares fell this after the company halted online sales of Zyn. These are the nicotine pouches in the U.S. in response to a District of Columbia subpoena related to flavored products that are banned there. Shares ended up falling only about by 0.8%. They were down over 2% a little earlier in the session.
Flavored tobacco products. I just can't. I could never do menthols. All right, guys, let's go
Is
to the
there
bond.
tobacco in them?
I have no idea.
I think it's just
I don't know.
nicotine. I don't know.
Did you
Quit
ever
smoking
smoke?
over 20 years ago.
Did you ever smoke?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I quit over 20 years ago,
That
so yay me.
surprises
My
me.
lungs have regenerated. All right, let's get to the bond market here. We have a rally pretty much all across the board, across the curve. It started once you had retail sales that disappointed and continued on the long end once you got that super solid 20-year auction. That moment where all of a sudden investors shun treasuries because of too much supply has not yet materialized with that solid takedown of that 20-year scar.
All right, we have some breaking news. Golden Goose, the luxury sneaker maker, was supposed to go public this week, but according to Bloomberg reporting, which cites people familiar with the matter, that company has decided to postpone its planned IPO. They've decided to shelve the listing because luxury stocks have not done too well. There's also a lot of turmoil in European stock markets because of political uncertainty.
So this is going to list in Europe. So this is more about the European market story, not being like, I guess, accommodative enough for them.
Perhaps
market?
conditions are not ripe, are not right either. So maybe that might be part of it. But I mean, the retail sales report that we got today also certainly doesn't help either.
How many pairs of these do you own, Scarlett?
No, I only own Birkenstocks. I have like 20 of those.
I can verify this.
Yeah, I don't spend up to $1,000 for sneakers.
I was actually interested. I went to the store downtown and I went into them, but all the shoes were dirty. I didn't know what to do.
Do you have 20 pairs of Birkenstocks?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
20 pairs? Wait, is that for real?
Yeah, almost. I don't throw them out because you can get the soles resold.
Because they don't die.
But the point is, you get the soles resold and you keep the same shoe. You don't buy 20 pairs of them.
Okay, this is what's going to happen.
It takes me a while to get that
Did you
done.
I'm going to count my
Barbie
over the
ones?
top. He's going to count his over the top. Scar, you're going to cut your Birkenstocks.
Okay.
We're going to reconfigure this, guys, on Thursday.
And
we're
see
going
who
to get
can
the
scare
data.
who.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're going to get to
Speaking of shoes.
Right.
Speaking of
Maybe
shoes.
you're investing in
That's a
Birkenstocks.
segue.
Well, we have an
Thanks,
interesting
Tim.
story
Yeah, you're welcome.
about Gen Z
You gotta keep Carol
investors.
on track.
Speaking. Oh, yeah, right. All right. Gen Z investors apparently shunning the 60-40 portfolio, but they're investing in kind of alt investments. Things like sneakers and classic cars. Apparently, there's kind of been a shift in what they are investing over maybe an older investor.
Okay, we got the survey from Bank of America. They surveyed wealthy Americans. They found that 94% of Gen Z and millennial investors are interested in collecting items such as watches, rare cars, and sneakers. That compares to only 57% of baby boomers who expressed interest in these collectibles.
Huh? What do we make of this? Are they going to collect stamps? Like, would they be on the same? I mean, Bill Grossman was selling his stamps. Was like, we want to pass it on to the next generation. Like, is this part of it?
Yeah, well, but I think it's, I mean, we've heard this from a lot of guests. I mean, that these younger people, I mean, they just see different areas to generate wealth and maybe not stamps, but like I said, sneakers and some of these other collectibles. I don't know, I've been surprised by it. They could look at some of the auctions we've had at Christie's and Sotheby's, you know,
I can
which
get
have
on
been
board
much a
with
focus.
sneakers more than I can get on board with NFTs.
It just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It
Can
seems
you
like
buy-
a lot of work to go and find these things that you think will be worth something versus something else that's.
You just do it online. It's easy.
What do you?
You can sell your Birkenstocks? They could be worth something in a while.
They're all used. That's a problem.
Oh, my God. All right. To be continued. No doubt about that. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform coverage, radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. We will see you again, same time, same place on Thursday.